Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Uh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students of class 8, today we will talk about cell wall. Yesterday we talked about chloroplasts, and today we will talk about an important part of the plant cell which is called as cell wall. And for your information, as far as the discovery of cell wall is concerned, it was discovered by a scientist whose name was Robert Hooke, right? Robert Hooke in the year 1665. The same scientist who discovered cell, and he is also responsible for discovering the cell wall. And as far as the cell wall is concerned, it's found in the plant cells, right? It's also found in fungi. It's also found in bacteria, right? So we can say the cell wall is found in plant cells, it's found in bacteria, it's found in fungi. There are exceptions, maybe for example, mycoplasma is the exception as far as the bacteria are concerned, where the cell wall is absent. Now, if I make a diagram, simple diagram here, I will not draw the internal organelles. I will just confine myself to the cell wall only, because our topic is cell wall for the day. So I will not draw the internal organelles. I will just draw this so as to make you understand the cell wall. You know, this outermost covering is called cell wall. It's a typical plant cell here, and we would like to discuss cell wall in the context of plant cell only, right? So this is the cell wall, and this is the cell membrane. Here, the point to be noted is that cell wall is an additional covering the plant cells have, because they also have cell membrane. So we can say the cell wall encloses the cell membrane, right? The cell wall encloses the cell membrane. As far as the nature of cell wall is concerned, it is rigid in nature. Unlike the cell membrane, which is flexible in nature. Cell wall is rigid in nature. And as far as the composition of cell wall is concerned, it's mainly composed of cellulose, cellulose. Now what is this cellulose? This cellulose is a type of carbohydrate. It's a type of carbohydrate, and I must tell you that cellulose is the most abundant carbohydrate on the earth. It is the most abundant carbohydrate on the earth. And the specialty of the cellulose is that it is insoluble in water. Therefore, अगर आप किसी प्लांट पर बहुत सारा पानी फेंकोगे भी and that plant is living, और वो प्लांट लिविंग है, तो उसके अंदर ये पानी नहीं जा सकता है. Why? Because cellulose is insoluble in water. Okay. Now let us also try to know what are the different layers of cell wall, and you will be amazed to know that cell wall has got how many layers? 3 layers. Cell walls are plant cell are 3 layers. How many layers? 3 layers. The cell wall of a plant cell has how many layers? 3 layers. And the outermost layer is the what we call as primary wall. Then is middle lamella, lamella, middle lamella. Then is secondary wall. So you have got how many layers? Cell wall has got 3 layers: primary wall, middle lamella, and secondary wall. Now let us see what is this primary wall. Okay, I will rub it, because the lower portion of the board is not visible to you. That's why I'm just rubbing it. So first is primary wall. Now what is this primary wall? As far as this primary wall is concerned, it is made up of a single layer of cells. Primary wall is made up of a single layer of cells, and it is made up of, its composition is made up of cellulose, understand, pectin, okay, and some proteins. So the composition of this primary wall is that it is made up of cellulose, pectin, and proteins, right? As far as this pectin is concerned, it is again we can say a sugar molecule, and it is made up of uh, it is made up of what we call as calcium and magnesium, pectate. It's made up of calcium and magnesium pectate, which this this pectin. So primary cell wall, it is made up of a single layer of cells, and it has cellulose, pectin, and some proteins in it. Means the composition wise, it consists of cellulose, pectin, and some protein. Of course, there is one more component which is called as hemicellulose. Okay, so we can say cellulose, pectin, proteins, and hemicellulose. This is about the primary cell wall, and it is found in the growing parts of the plant. Growing parts of the plant means that those parts of the plants which are growing, you can see this primary wall in them. Growing parts, for example, the parts having meristematic tissues which divide, you can see this primary wall there, right? And then is another wall, what we call as secondary wall. Sorry, middle lamella. Middle, middle, middle lamella. What is this middle lamella? Middle lamella is again, it is a sticky layer. Sticky ko is layer, sticky layer, right? It is very easy to understand. Sticky means, for example, if you have a gum and you just you put this gum on the wall, what will happen to the gum? You can layer it. Changam, just layer it. If I put into middle lamella, it is a sticky layer. And a cell layer, you can layer it. It is called as middle lamella. And this middle lamella is made up of pectin, pectin. This pectin is in turn made of calcium and magnesium pectate. I will tell you what is this calcium magnesium pectate. This calcium magnesium pectate is something that gives hardness to the plant cell. अगर आपने देखा होगा, युथी कह मेव छ आसान, युथी मतलब कह फ्रूट छ आसान, युथी से खामु छ आसान, वारिया hard, such as varia hard, and that hardness is given to the fruit by this calcium and magnesium pectate. जब ये फ्रूट बड़ा होता है तो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता ये calcium और magnesium pectate उसमें it loses this calcium and magnesium pectate, and what happens is the fruit becomes soft. Therefore, we can say the hardness of this fruit is attributed to this calcium and magnesium pectate, and once the fruit starts ripening, it becomes soft. Actually, this softness is because the cells at that time lose a good or a considerable amount of this calcium and magnesium pectate. That is what actually brings the softness in the fruits, right? So again, and then you have one more layer which is called as the last layer is called as secondary wall. The difference between the primary wall and secondary wall is that this secondary wall, it is a thick layer of cells. Thick. It is thicker than the primary. The cells in the secondary wall, they are thicker than the cells in the primary wall. जो सेकेंडरी वॉल के अंदर सेल्स होते हैं वो क्या होती है, वो थिक होती है. इसीलिए हम कहते हैं सेकेंडरी वॉल कहाँ पर पाएंगे? इट इज फाउंड इन वुडी प्लांट्स. बिल्कुल छो बोन छो उनके वुडी प्लांट्स सरी उनमें पाया जाता है. कौन? सेकेंडरी वॉल जो होता है ये वुडी प्लांट्स में पाया जाता है, और ये प्राइमरी वॉल के अंदर होता है. पहले प्राइमरी वॉल, उसके बाद सेकेंडरी वॉल. सो मीन्स इट लाइज इनसाइड द प्राइमरी वॉल. Secondary wall lies inside the primary wall, and the thickness of the secondary wall is more than the thickness of the primary wall. Now, this what we call it Secondary, it is found in the woody plants. In the woody plants timan mas laban. Yani asman kuch put in fully grown cells timan mas ये लाबन कुछ secondary wall. इसके अलावा इस सेल वॉल की जो सेल वॉल पर छोटे छोटे सुराख होते हैं, right? There are small pores which we call as plasmodesmata. Plasmodesmata. For what? किस लिए होते हैं? तो अगर यहाँ पर मैं बनाऊंगा, जैसे हमारे पास एक सेल है, you have one cell here for example and you have another cell here, okay? Now the exchange of water and nutrients through these cells, it takes place through these plasmodesmata. So plasmodesmata are nothing but they are small holes which are present on the cell wall so as to ensure the exchange of water and nutrients between the cells. Now middle lamella के बारे में मैंने आपको बताना था कि middle lamella why it is sticky, because it connects the two cells. अगर यहाँ पर एक सेल है, यहाँ पर दूसरी सेल है, इनके बीच में क्या है? मिडल लेमला. और इसी मिडल लेमला पर छोटे छोटे सुराख होते हैं, उनको हम बोलते हैं, we call them as plasmodesmata. अब ये sticky layer क्यों है? Because it joins the two cells together. The cell पान में connect करने खुद से middle lamella, that's why it is sticky. It is sticky. Now let us briefly throw some light on the functions of the cell wall. I'm sure that the cell wall is now quite understandable to all of you. Now let's go to its functional part. Functions of the cell wall. Very easy to understand. What is the first function of cell wall is that it supports a cell. What does it mean? It supports a cell. Means that you, for example, as far as cells have got what we call as skeleton within. We call that cytoskeleton. This cell wall, it supports the plant. For example, plant was khada. It was khada. It is only because of the cell wall. So we can say the first function of the cell wall is that it supports the cell. Number two, protection. It provides protection to the cell. For example, protection is अक्सर मैकेनिकल मतलब आप किसी का नुकसान बताओ कि मगर सारे अहम तरीन चीज प्रोटेक्शन में इसका मतलब वो it protects the cell from pathogens. जिन जरासीम जो वायरस ये नुकसान का बात नहीं, वो सेल वॉल के थ्रू अंदर नहीं जा सकते हैं, सेल मेम्ब्रेन तक नहीं पहुंच सकते हैं. तो we can say the cell wall, it protects the cell from pathogens, from bacteria, from viruses, right? तो नंबर थर्ड इसकी जो फंक्शन है वो क्या है? That is communication. What does it mean? Means cell wall पे क्या होते हैं? Plasmodesmata. Communication through plasmodesmata. यानी cell आखिर से करा communicate because there are plasmodesmata present on the cell wall which help us in the communication between the two cells. And number 4 is storage of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates इसका मतलब को अगर आप सीड की मिसाल लोगे, जो सीड सेल है ना उसके इर्द गिर्द क्या होती है? सेल वॉल. वहां पर ये सेल वॉल क्या स्टोर करती है? कार्बोहाइड्रेट. इसके अलावा इसकी एक फंक्शन और भी है, वो क्या है? इट मेंटेन्स टर्गर प्रेशर. इसके बारे में कभी और बात करूंगा, टर्गर प्रेशर के बारे में वो क्या होता है. Then you have to study the guard cell, only then you will understand this turgor pressure. So we can say first function is cell wall supports the plant cell. It protects the plant cell from pathogens and other harmful things. It has a communicative function as well through plasmodesmata, and it also acts as storage of carbohydrates as far as seeds are concerned, and it also maintains the turgor pressure in the plant cell. So this was about cell wall and its function. Thank you very much.